Despite all of the rhetoric surrounding the bloody mass deportations, we have to remember that the Trump regime allowed these white South Afrikaners to come here on refugee status. Supposedly, these people were experiencing a genocide, and he was like, come on in. Y'all are just getting it so terribly over in your country. So he let these people come in. I'm going to get back to the Afrikaners, but just the other day, I posted this picture in my YouTube community, and I was talking about the National Guard that were sleeping on the floor in these federal buildings, and it was being reported that the Trump regime sent them out to LA without food or water. They didn't have accommodations set up, and people jumped into my comment section to say this is the life. This is the life that they chose. Because what I had said is, I was like, any mom that has gone on a trip could have done a better job at setting up accommodations for these people than the Trump regime. And people just made it like I just didn't know what was going on. And I'm using this picture to show that this Trump regime, they do not have any planning foresight. They do things to make headlines, but then the follow through, the planning and all of that is pretty sad. So like I said, let's talk about these Afrikaners that came here on refugee status. Here's an article from a publication called The South African. No food, job, or phones. Afrikaner refugee family stranded in U.S. American dream. An Afrikaner refugee family has been left without assistance, including food, after arriving in the U.S. And this is basically just another example of how they just make plans or make headlines, but then forget that these are actual people, like how they planned all of the bloody mass deportations and then forgot that these people actually work here. It's like they have no thought of what's going to happen next. So let's get into this article. An Afrikaner refugee family has reportedly been left stranded in the U.S. and is appealing for help on Facebook. The startling revelation was made by a South African expat on TikTok. Two groups of white South Africans have taken up refugee status in the U.S. in recent weeks as part of a program open to persecuted people. Afrikaner refugees left stranded. On her TikTok account, South African expat @CatMPT revealed that she had come across an Afrikaner refugee family in dire need of help. The family of four was reportedly stranded at a hotel in Montana without food, money, or a cell phone. Instead, they reached out to a Facebook group for help. The woman said of the refugees, they were understanding that they would be arriving here for complete or maybe with complete assistance. People thought they would be arriving at a house, a job, medical insurance, and other things. It isn't that way at all. She added, because of the political situation, they are really struggling to get jobs. The woman revealed that she left South Africa more than a decade ago, but had gone through a lengthy process. She also criticized the Afrikaner refugees for having unrealistic expectations. She continued, one side of me is like, F that. My husband and I went through all of the red tape and we got our visas. We've got our green card. We've been here 10 years. We did everything the right way. Who does that sound like? That definitely sounds like something I've heard before. She continues with, here, these people, regardless of what they were promised, just came here expecting everything. Under the post, the woman added that she was assisting the family with a car as she was a humanitarian. Now, the post is no longer available. I went there this morning, but thankfully I saw this article yesterday. I had gone over to her page yesterday and I grabbed the video. I'll share the video at the end. All right, it says, no help from SA Embassy. Last month, the Department of International Relations stated that South African refugees in the United States would not have access to any diplomatic assistance whilst abroad. The persecuted South Africans would instead be assisted by the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program, which was signed as an executive order by Trump. As part of the Afrikaner Act, the group was also given priority to refugee status, which provides them with startup assistance like money, jobs, and even a house. That's really nice of them. They didn't do this for other people seeking asylum, but okay. But obviously it didn't happen because Trump's a liar. Can they return to South Africa? According to DIRCO spokesperson Crispin Fury, refugees simply can't return home for a bribe and go back. I'm not sure what a bri is, but obviously they can't just go back because they were seeking refugee status for a reason. It was so dangerous. There was a genocide there. He added, even the word itself, refugee, suggests you are seeking refuge from a particular country. You can't be seeking refugee status, then go back home, have a bride, and then go back. Maybe have a vacation. I don't know, have some rest. It defeats the purpose of you being protected and a refugee of a particular country. Plus, they said it was so violent out there for the white South Afrikaners. Why would these people go back? For Afrikaner refugees hoping to return home willingly for good voluntary repatriation is always an option. Organizations like the UNHCR help those who wish to travel back to their countries by providing financial assistance. Durko added that the refugees would be welcomed back as citizens. However, they would have to revoke their status in order for this to happen. Do you think the Afrikaner refugees were unrealistic about expecting a better life in the United States? Yes, but still, they thought that they were special, and the people that allowed them to come here, they took some pictures, they made some headlines, and now they are done with these people. I'm not exactly sure, but there's so much going on. And now the funny thing is, these poor MAGAs, the unhealthy MAGAs, should be kind of upset that the white South Afrikaners would be getting money, food, health insurance. They should be upset about that because these people's health insurance, money assistance is being snatched from them. All right, now, I told y'all Cat PMT snatched that video down. When I went to her page this morning, she says, "Thank you for visiting my page. The video you've come to see has been taken down due to constant flagging by the platform for bullying. It has also caused enough damage by fanning the flames of a fire that I did not realize existed. My hope is to use this page to show the difficulties and challenges a person faces when moving to a new country, but in a fun and educational way. The correct people have now stepped in to make sure all parties get what they need." And actually, since she got the video taken down for bullying, if you are on TikTok watching this, I'm not going to put this video here. I'm not going to have my video pulled down for bullying. You can come over to Bourbon Bougie, that girl on the YouTubes. I'm right here, Bourbon Bougie. You can find the remainder of the video over there. Plus, TikTok has demonetized me anyway. So if you want to watch the whole video, come over there. It's going to be at the tail end of this video if you want to see what Kat was saying about the refugees.
So I said the other day about how I don't think about the South African refugees, which I don't, but there's this group on Facebook, and there are many of them, like South Africans in Montana, or South Africans in Texas, or South Africans in the US. And there's this one group which is kind of female focused, and I've removed myself from all groups. I mean, we've been here 10 years, but I've kind of stayed in this one group because every now and again they post some like really good like recipes or just like random shit from South Africa that you kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And the lady who runs the group had been posting like everywhere about looking for people who live close to this one town, which I live kind of like 2.5 hours away from, here in Montana. And I'd forgotten about another group that I was in, which hardly ever has any posts in. And because I'm friends with her on Facebook, she posted in there and the post came up. So long story short, a family of refugees has been placed in this town, and they have had like no food. I know that there's this, and I don't know what to think because I didn't really follow it at all when it happened. But I think they were of the understanding that they were going to be arriving here to like complete assistance. And I think people here thought that they were going to be arriving to a house and a job and medical insurance and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it actually it actually isn't that way at all. There have been like 4 adults in a hotel room with no money, no cell phone, no anything. And obviously, because of the political situation, they are really struggling. Struggling to get jobs, struggling. And I kind of feel like those are obvious reasons. And I, like, the humanitarian in me, I can't ignore the fact that these people are struggling. But there's this one side of me that's like, fuck that. Myself and my husband, we went through all of the red tape and we got our visas. We were transferred here with another company. And we got our green cards and we've been here 10 years. And like we did everything the right way. And here these people, regardless of what they were promised, just came here expecting everything, and it's not what they expected it to be. And I don't think they can go back to South Africa because they've kind of given up their rights. I don't know the full story. So I've made contact with the lady. Obviously there's a lot of like PTSD from this whole thing, and I'm struggling to communicate with her, which is quite strange. And I don't even know what I'm gonna go and do there. Like there's not a lot I can do. It's not like I can get them jobs. It's not like I can. I don't know. But there's this humanitarian side of me that's like, wow, shit, people shouldn't struggle like this. But there are so many people who are struggling like this, and I feel for them, but I also feel like, wow, you want me to go just because I'm South African? I don't know. What would you do?